So next up, when we talk about power, is when it goes a little too far, an abuse of power. But before, we're talking the Epstein files being, it is like, again, you talk about the thing that just keeps going. You talk about that. That is like these people, this administration, Trump, Bondi, they dangled this shit overhead, the JFK files. Like, you want to talk about a nothing burger? You want to talk about the biggest boner killer? I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, we're going to get the deets. Nothing new. Crickets, tumbleweed. All I could hear was the janitor in the back, like, over it. So the Epstein files are the whole story is kind of being resurfaced. And here's why. There are survivors who are basically like, look, you guys talk this big talk and you didn't deliver shit. There were like 30,000 documents that were just released. And I think 1,000 of them had new information. So these women are basically like, you know what? I got to give it to them power. If you guys aren't going to do it, we're going to take it into our hands and we're going to do it ourselves. So you have people, and this has been a bipartisan issue, right? You have Nancy Mace, who had a private kind of hearing with them they had a 2-hour press conference. I believe it was yesterday. At Capitol Hill, the survivors, but they had a private hearing. And Nancy Mace, who also just recently came out as a victim, I think recently within the last 2 years, came out visibly, like she was like, no, I can't even talk to reporters, like visibly shaking and crying. And she said she had a panic attack, the whole thing. Massey is in on it, also Ro Khanna, right, who's a Democrat. So basically they're saying this is a list for and by survivors. And these women are basically saying, we are going to name names. We're going to air this out. And again, I always say this, if you want something done, you got to do it yourself. Now here's this issue. Here's where it's real dicey. It is real dicey. Okay. Because you can hear a spider piss on a napkin. Yes, indeed. Actually, that is true. I forgot that one, but you're exactly right. Torch turkey. Torch turkey. Is that a sexual innuendo, by the way? Or is that just a Thanksgiving, something gone wrong? I don't know. I need to know the backstory. So I've been very vocal about this issue from the beginning. Remember a little thing called Time's Up? Yeah. I was a red carpet reporter on the red carpet in Hollywood when all of these celebrities were parading around like they were the Miss USA pageant, kind of like similarly to the conservative influencers, by the way, who had these big shiny Epstein files binders to find out you open them and it's like a crossword puzzle from first grade. Like, give me a break. So a couple things here. This is where I'm on, like, I see all sides of this issue. Okay. Common sense always reigns supreme. Always Queen Common Sense, King Common Sense. We love them. I interviewed R. Kelly survivors and I basically straight up asked them. I said, all these women, the Meryl Streeps, the Nicole Kidmans, and this and that are parading around in this show and pony dance. Pony and horse dance? I don't know. You guys know. In their black dresses. And I don't see them naming shit. So what are they doing for you guys? Again, virtue signaling. It's Hollywood's favorite hobby, only hobby, virtue signaling. I saw it up close. And the R. Kelly survivors were like, yes, basically. They want to save face. They want to save their own asses. And they don't want to name names because they're protecting themselves and their own career. So sure, they'll wear a black Versace dress or Armani, may he rest in peace. I think he died today. Too soon? I don't think so. I say not. And they won't actually walk the walk, right? So I had the interviews, I had the bites. I was like, this needs to be said. Because again, I like what I just said, being honest. Truth will find you, sweetie. Truth does not sleep, okay? Just like karma. And I pitched it to every publication under the sun, what these R. Kelly survivors had to say. And guess what? No one picked it up. And I even got some feedback from some that were like, Taylor, this is such a great piece, but basically, we can't run this. Why? They couldn't run it because they are all in one big dysfunctional menage a trois, circle jerk power. You talk about the institutions. I know you guys are very much into like, big finance, all that, banks. You want to talk about entertainment, media. They're all in bed with one another. God forbid they can't call out celebrities because that celebrity, Meryl, this person, they'll never talk to that outlet again. They're screwed. So you guys want to talk about, trust me, I got my little we the people, you can't see it, but you want to talk about freedom, free speech, free press. Yeah, not really. They're all basically, like I said, in one big gangbang with one another to protect their own asses and to feed into their own power. Like many of politicians, all just self-serving, right? Like, what is it actually doing for the people? Or in this case, the people they're there to support, and like fake crying, like, oh, we need to help victims. Yeah, lady, I don't see you naming a name. Name one. Bring them down. If they really did these bad things and if justice should be served, do it. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Just like Torch Turkey, I heard the spider piss on a napkin. That was about it. Now, on the flip side, okay, because you never know what you're going to get in this box of tricks. That is Talk to Me, Taylor. I've also been very vocal about Me Too going too far. And it became believe all women, believe every woman, which I wasn't for. I wasn't behind that because I'm like, oh, gee, well, what could possibly go wrong? Men are, and I'm sure, hey, what's up? Hey, Heat Score. He said, what's up, lady? Hey, what's up? Welcome to the chats. Have fun here. Your Mi Casa is tu casa. Men with Me Too going too far couldn't be men anymore. I'll never forget. I was on a red carpet when this was all going down, and a guy literally said to me, he was another reporter. He was like, "Can I compliment you on your dress? I just want to tell you it looks really nice. It looks really pretty." I'm like, "Wow, we've literally all become like androgynous, just like miscellaneous asexual objects." Because someone can't even compliment my goddamn dress. That's so sad. I had another instance when I was sitting next to Morgan Freeman in a press, it was like a baby press conference. They used to call them roundtable interviews. It was like eight-ish reporters and the celebrity. Sure enough, I'm sitting right next to Morgan and I'm wearing ripped up Abercrombie jeans. And he looks at them and he looks at me and he's like, almost like he's like, that's strategic, not at all sexual, not at all creepy, but in a way your grandparent would. Like, they sell them whole. They sell whole jeans down the street, right? So cut to the ends of the interview. And I have this all on camera. It's on my YouTube. I say to him, Morgan, is there something you want to say about my pants? And he looks at them and looks at me and he's like, wear them, baby. You probably saw it in the intro if you stuck around, and we high five and everyone cracks up. Well, cut to a year later or so, he was coming under fire for Me Too allegations. And I was contacted by an outlet who wanted to run that story, saying that there was someone there in the room from the outlet and that he openly objectified me and it wasn't okay. So they ran the story. And what did I do? I penned a rebuttal in Playboy saying he did not meet. First of all, I'm not a Me Too victim because you decide, okay? Like I decide what's okay and not. That was totally okay. Fun jest, totally normal. And that's where it's gone too far. So another op-ed I wrote that did not get picked up was in defense of Dave Portnoy. If you guys remember, a lot of you may be Portnoy fans. And he and I, we've crossed paths and whatnot. But he was coming under fire for basically they were hit pieces that Business Insider was doing against him with these women with these half-baked allegations. And it was consensual. They just said he was rough. We think it was consensual, right? You can never say. And I wrote an op-ed saying, again, this kind of stuff doesn't help. Like this only waters down real victims and their stories and makes us not believe them. It makes us think twice. Like, oh, okay, lady, who are you trying to take down? Oh, you have an axe to grind. And does that actually help people who are hurting, who are actual survivors of terrible abuse? It's not okay. So I wrote the piece. I self-published it because no one had the cojones or the balls to pick it up. And I'm just reading some of your comments here. And so Dave Portnoy caught wind of it and he came on my show to talk about it. And I was the only show that he went on at the time to discuss it. And obviously, he was making his case, but it was a very level-headed conversation. He's like, what are we talking about? Like, first of all, I have like the best decision I ever made for Barstool was hiring Erica, then the CEO. As a CEO, I call her daddy on the map. Jenna Marbles, who is the first, like, what are we like? I have a great relationship with my wife, my mom, all this. So, it just goes to show that this whole thing has become such a mess because, and again, it's all about honesty and it's all about truth. Just be out with it. Just be out with it. It's going to get you. Just ask Sadia, if that's her name. Sadia Khan, just ask her. That's why, because we want to actually believe people. We want the weight to have significance, right? And we don't want imagine your daughter, your sister, your friend coming out and be like, no one believes me. Like, how horrible is that? So that's why these women, and I've even seen conservatives, because they're riding Trump's dick so hard that, and Trump, I am a huge fan of Trump, but he doesn't do himself any favors, because he again was like, we're gonna expose this. Now suddenly he's like, it's a Democratic hoax that they made up. It's like, buddy, what? Stop it. Stop it right now. This is like the same kind of conservative amnesia that ran rampant when all the conservatives were jerking off and praising Sydney Sweeney, when like 3 months later they were burning her like the Salem witch trials, being like, she's too sexual. Like, stop it with the amnesia. So it does make you wonder, who's in those files? Is there something to hide? And then he'll say, this is taking, I'm reading some of your comments here, which I love, by the way, keep them coming. He's saying they're just doing this on purpose to take away from all of the accomplishments and how far we've come in stopping wars and all this and that. And I get the validity and the merit in that, but at the same thing, I'm like, dude, again, it's like you want to talk about a cock tease or talking prom night. That is sort of the loose theme. It is like the girl who's teasing, and then maybe she like unzips the pants. I don't know if it's a little too on the nose with this example, but you get it. And then leaves you with blue balls. It's like, you have been dangling. It was a talking point in the campaign. So what are we even doing? It definitely does make one wonder. Even like Marjorie Taylor Greene is in on this, which makes you think like, yes, it's not grocery prices, it's not gas prices, it's not our jobs or things that affect us day to day per se. But even there, like, this is an issue. David said, I knew Zeno would show up. Okay. Hey, Zeno. Hey, David. Long time no see. Funny seeing you here. Are you the new IT tech guy? Because if so, I'm gonna have you on call. So that's what's going on, with that. And we'll see how it plays out. But yes, I have seen conservative commentators being like, oh, well, now these women are just going to come out with a list and it's just believe all women. And this is where, again, no one did, certainly not the left and celebrities in the media, did themselves any favors by crucifying and taking down any single man. Literally could be like, the guy on set who does the snacks looked at me weird, and now his entire business and reputation is ruined. It's like, okay, first of all, now anyone's scared to do or say anything, and they're taken down immediately. And we don't believe the victim. So it's just, we made a mess of this whole thing. But I will say, at the end of the day, that's why you have to kind of just parse it out, take it with a grain of salt, because it is really great. But I will say that I give them kudos for stepping up again and taking it by the balls and being like, you know what, like, and I saw some of their testimonies and what they said, and they're like, you know what, if you all won't with the big power seats in Congress and this and that, then we will. So I give them kudos for that. Let's see what happens. But again, just remember to take it with, it's gray. It's not black and white. And, you got to just take it for what it is, case by case, and we'll see what happens. But to jump on a bandwagon like, oh, they're just trying to get at Trump. It's like, slow your roll. Chill. Not everything is about Trump 24/7, contrary to your brains. Okay.